Hey there, welcome back to the Goods Insight videos. My name is John MacDonald, and today I've gathered my best and most important learnings from over a decade of running A/B tests on product detail pages. The main takeaway: optimizing your product descriptions is one of the highest return, lowest investment improvements that an e-commerce manager can make. Let's dive in and talk about how to write product descriptions that convert more of your site visitors into buyers. The most important starting point is, what is a product description anyways? What does it really do? Let's poke a hole in the idea that a job is just to describe the product. Given the name, it makes sense that most folks might think this, but your product descriptions aren't just there to describe what's on your site. They're also there to do a handful of other things. They qualify. They help your website visitors quickly assess, is this for someone like me? They persuade. They provide compelling, customer-centered reasons to consider the product. And they surface. They use search engine optimization, keywords, and search terms in a natural way, so the page shows up in results of something like even on Amazon. Remember that every product description should qualify, persuade, and surface. I want to share a template as a starting point for writing your product descriptions. Keep in mind, it is intentionally flexible starting point. Think of it less as a blueprint and more as a guide you'll customize using the steps that follow. First thing is, you want a descriptive headline. Use a product title that will hook your audience. Bonus points if you connect with them emotionally. Use a benefits-focused paragraph. In a descriptive paragraph to explain why exactly customer benefits from using your product. Follow with a key benefits list. This is a bulleted list of key product details and features. Add additional motivation. Minimize any remaining purchase hurdles, such as will it fit, do others like it, with things like credibility, social proof, and product reviews. All right, so you have your rough outline. Now what? You're going to use that information about your customer's brand and product to fill it in. Here are the steps that you'll need to do and take to do that. First is know who you are speaking to and what their pain points are. The second is define and refine your voice that you speak in. Third is focus on solutions more than features. Fourth, keep it effective and efficient. And five, write as if they were right in front of you. And six, run through a final edit checklist. By the end of all of these, you'll have a product description that is engineered to convert potential buyers, though of course, we'd advocate for testing it first. Let's look at each step in detail so that you're ready to put it into action in the e-commerce wild. So step one, figure out who you're speaking to or who your ideal prospect is. You've likely heard the adage, everyone is not your ideal customer. That's important to keep in mind for your product description as well. If you try to sell to everybody, you'll end up selling to no one. To avoid this mistake, speak directly to your ideal customer and don't worry about the rest. If you haven't defined your ideal prospect before, begin by asking yourself these questions. Who could benefit most from this product? What problems will this product solve, or what pain points does it address for those prospects? What desires will owning this product fill for the consumer? What objections or primary prospects will they have during their purchase decision? And why should they buy from you instead of a competitor? And what words or phrases do they use to talk about your product? These questions will help you create your rough buyer personas. Your personas should be front and center when writing the copy on the product descriptions, as in tape them to your computer screen right next to the Word file where you write these descriptions. Step two is define and refine your voice to be able to speak with your prospects in their language. Once you've nailed down who you're speaking to, your next step is to figure out how to speak to them. Are you talking to them like they're both in a boardroom? Or like you just met up for beers with the dogs? Or just like there are a variety of ways a retail associate can talk with you in a store, know that there are many ways to write a product description and talk with your site visitors. What you want to figure out is which voice and tone is most persuasive for your ideal prospect. What's right for your product descriptions will likely depend on two key factors. The first is your ideal prospect. What is their emotional state when searching for or needing this product? What kind of language do they use to describe or search for it? And second, your brand. What impression are you trying to make and what do you want to come across? Now, you need to balance how your prospect speaks and how your brand speaks to define the voice of your product descriptions. Step 3 is to focus on solutions more than specification. Your target audience is less interested in your product than what they can achieve with your product. Now, they're interested in how buying your thing makes them more awesome, right? So this is something you can help them see in your product descriptions, and it's an easy way to do that through framing the product features and relevant information as must-buy benefits. For example, encourage prospects by applauding their aspirations. Help them visualize what they can achieve with your product. Help the prospects imagine that their product is already in their possession. And use sensory language to explain how the customer will feel using the product by tapping into the 5 senses such as sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. Help them imagine how their current needs are being met by using the product. And then highlight the problem before you sell the solution. Does focusing on benefits mean that the new rule of thumb is no specifications list? Not quite. Specs are important to the decision-making criteria for many products. Great product descriptions lead with a tangible consumer benefits that illuminate and solve their problems before you dive into those features. Step 4 is structuring your descriptions so that they're scannable, effective, and efficient. Once you've figured out what benefits to lead with, you want to balance saying too much with too little. Overall, you want to structure your product descriptions so that visitors can scan them quickly. Bullet points, short paragraphs, and relevant headings are all ways to help readability and making your description easier to digest. You can also follow a template. For example, try this format in your next description. Introduce the product, set up the problem, describe the solution in a persuasive way, and end with a call to action, moving the prospect closer to becoming a consumer. Now, another way to simplify your product description without losing value is to use videos. Icons and graphics are another way to make your product description more skimmable without cutting back on key info. Step 5, write as if your buyer is right there with you. Some of the best copywriters have a trick for writing persuasive copy, and it's one you can use too. Write directly to one person. For you, this means writing like you were selling and describing the product to the ideal prospect identified back in step 1. Picture they're standing right there in front of you. Focus on being persuasive and energetic, and use the second person you to address the target consumer directly. Now, if you're finding the be persuasive piece tricky, here are a few extra tips for writing product descriptions that persuade and convert. Keep your sentences short and to the point. Make emotional connection with your audience essential, and highlight what the prospect will feel after using your product. Empathize with the challenges that your prospects face and agree that their pain is something that your product relieves. Now, sell a lifestyle that will keep them coming back. And a good way to test your description is coming along is just to read it out loud. Ask yourself how it sounds in a real conversation and if you'd have that conversation with your target audience. Step 6, use these optimization checklists to improve your product descriptions. Phew, you've pulled together that first draft and you've made a lot of progress. But the last step is to run through a few checklists that help you check and just make sure you've got all the big picture pieces in place and you haven't gotten sloppy with the nitty-gritty like grammar or search engine optimization terms. Let's start with some big picture checks. Have you used the descriptive and compelling headline? Made your product come alive to the prospect? Highlighted surprising or unconventional benefits of your product? And led your benefits with pain-busting solutions and not features? And use language that's familiar to your ideal prospect but consistent with your brand's voice. Have you made your description skimmable with headers, bullet icons, videos, and another method. Have you included social proof? Are there relevant influencers, technologies, or brands you can help reference to increase the credibility? And have you used relevant SEO keywords and Amazon search terms naturally in the headings, subheadings, and description paragraphs? Now, if you've done all those things, move on to some of the nitty-gritty refinements. I'm talking about using positive words that evoke trust and security, making sure your sentences start with action verbs, not passive statements. And did you use future and present tenses to help your customers feel like owners? Did you proactively include relevant directions and prevent returns? Did you avoid lazy writing words such as actually, literally, honestly, just, nice, sorry, that, very, maybe, of? Have you checked for correct grammar and used a free tool like Grammarly? Did you avoid hyperbolic words such as market leading, breakthrough, innovative, stunning, ultimate, revolutionary? Keep in mind, many of these are just guidelines, not hard and fast rules, but they should be a great place to start for any brand. Finally, check for duplicate copy. Use a tool like Copyscape to make sure that you're not repeating yourself or using copy from another website. Never ever copy a manufacturer's product description. Google will reward you for value-added copy, but hurt you with cloned copy. Okay, we've covered a lot. Let's recap quickly. Know who you're speaking to and what their pain points are. Define and refine the voice you speak in. Focus on solutions more than features. Keep it effective and efficient. Write as if they are right in front of you. And run through a final editing checklist. Remember, product descriptions are a key part of potential decision-making process. 87% of consumers rate product content extremely or very important when deciding to buy. So go ahead and evaluate your current product descriptions using the tips and examples we've listed above. It takes time, but the potential improvement in sales and performance is well worth the investment. I'll leave you to get started. Subscribe to our channel so that you'll always be the first to know about new e-commerce insight videos. And let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.